Right now, somewhere in your neighborhood, someone is making the most expensive gardening mistake of their life. And they don't even know it. They're raking up leaves, healing fallen branches, dragging old rotting logs into a pile. Then they strike a match. In a few hours, decades of stored solar energy and carbon turn into smoke and ash, blown away by the wind. They think they're cleaning up. But I'm here to tell you, they're burning the only battery that could save their garden from the coming collapse. What if instead of burning that wood, you buried it? And by burying it, you could build a garden that defies every rule of modern agriculture. A garden that needs no hose, even during the worst drought. A garden that needs no fertilizer for 20 years. And most impossibly, a garden that heats itself from the inside out, keeping your vegetables alive and producing when the air outside is freezing. This isn't magic, my friends. It's a biological machine. When wood decomposes underground, it doesn't just disappear. It transforms. It becomes a sponge that holds 500% of its weight in water. And more importantly, it becomes a slow fire. The microbial activity releases heat, turning your garden bed into a natural thermal blanket that extends your growing season long after your neighbor's plants have died. But before you start dragging logs into your backyard, there's a biological trap door you absolutely need to avoid. Not all wood is fuel for life. Some trees have evolved a chemical defense mechanism, a biological weapon designed to kill competition. If you bury the wrong type of wood, specifically one common tree that might be growing in your yard right now, you aren't building a self-heating garden. You're building an underground tomb. The toxins will leach into your soil and chemically sterilize your garden for a decade. Nothing will grow. The difference between 20 years of abundance and a toxic wasteland comes down to knowing which wood is fuel and which is poison. By the end of this video, I'll give you the golden wood list for maximum heat and the death list you must avoid at all costs. It's time to rediscover Hugelkultur. Welcome to Home Garden Fix, where we uncover the ancient methods they stopped teaching. The ancient forests of Eastern Europe, where it all began. To understand why this method works, we have to leave the manicured lawns of modern suburbia. We're traveling back to the dense, ancient forests of Eastern Europe and Germany hundreds of years ago. The peasants living in these regions faced a brutal reality. The winters were long. The soil was often poor or frozen. There were no chemical fertilizers to force plants to grow. Starvation was always one bad harvest away. But they noticed something remarkable. In the wild forest, the most vibrant life didn't grow on the flat ground. It grew on the fallen giants, the nurse logs. When a massive tree fell and began to rot, it became an explosion of biodiversity. Mosses, ferns, and saplings grew twice as fast on that decaying trunk than they did in the dirt just a few feet away. They realized that the forest was feeding itself. The death of the tree was the engine for new life. So they mimicked nature. They dug trenches, filled them with rotting logs, branches, and biomass, and covered them with soil to create large mound-shaped beds. They called it Hugelkultur, roughly translating to hill culture or mound culture. It looked primitive, but functionally it was advanced technology. During the heavy rains of spring, the wood inside the mound absorbed water like a giant sponge, preventing the soil from washing away. During the scorching dry summers, when flat fields turned to dust, the Hugelkultur mound stayed moist. The wood released that stored water back to the roots, drop by drop. And in the bitter cold of winter, while the flat ground froze solid, turning roots into icicles, the Hugelkultur mound steamed. The decomposing core acted like a biological furnace, keeping the soil temperature just a few degrees higher, just enough to keep the kale and root vegetables alive. This method sustained communities for centuries. It was the ultimate low-tech, high-yield insurance policy. Drop a comment right now and tell me, have you ever heard of Hugelkultur before today? I'm genuinely curious how many of our gardening community know about this ancient secret. The physics, how dead wood creates life. Here's the mystery. How can a pile of rotting wood generate heat in the middle of a blizzard? How can dead matter create life? To unlock this, we have to look at two invisible mechanisms working silently beneath your feet. First, the sponge. Wood is essentially a bundle of cellulose tubes designed to transport water. When wood dies and begins to rot, that structure becomes porous. Think of a rotting log like a hard, dry sponge. When it rains, it drinks. A single cubic foot of decaying wood can hold gallons of water. In a Hugelkultur bed, you're burying thousands of these tiny water tanks under your plants. When a summer drought hits and the surface soil dries out, the laws of physics take over. Through capillary action, the water stored deep in the logs wicks upward, delivering moisture directly to the feeder roots. While your neighbor is standing there with a hose paying for municipal water, your garden is drinking from a reservoir it filled up months ago. Second, the slow fire. We usually think of fire as flames and smoke, but biologically, decomposition is just a very slow combustion. When bacteria and fungi eat the carbon in the wood, they break chemical bonds. Breaking bonds releases energy. That energy manifests as heat. It's the same reason a compost pile steams in the morning. But a compost pile burns out in a few weeks because it's mostly soft greens. Hardwood logs? They're dense fuel. They decompose slowly over 5, 10, even 20 years. This creates a steady, low-grade warmth in the root zone. This thermal energy does something magical. It creates a microclimate. Even if the air temperature drops to freezing, the soil temperature inside the mound stays active. This keeps the soil biology alive, keeps nutrients cycling, and prevents roots from going into shock. You aren't just planting in dirt. You are planting on top of a 20-year heating pad. Third, the trust fund. As the wood breaks down, it doesn't just disappear. It turns into rich, black humus. It slowly releases nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and calcium. You're creating a nutrient bank account that pays your plants a dividend every single day for a generation. No fertilizer bags required. No trips to the garden center. No spending money every spring. If this is the most eye-opening gardening content you've watched, hit that like button right now. And subscribe to Home Garden Fix so you never miss these ancient secrets. Why agriculture abandoned the mound? So if this system creates water, heat, and food for free, why isn't every farm doing it? Why did we abandon hill culture for the flat earth? The answer is simple. Scalability. The enemy of Hugelkultur isn't biology. It's geometry. The Industrial Revolution brought us the tractor, the combine harvester, and the monoculture row. Machines hate bumps. Machines hate curves. Machines need everything to be perfectly flat, uniform, and predictable. A Hugelkultur mound is messy. It settles over time. It creates microtopography. You can't drive $1 million John Deere tractor over a 4-foot mound of rotting logs. So agriculture made a terrible trade. We sacrificed the biological efficiency of the mound for the mechanical efficiency of the flat field. To make the land flat, we had to remove the biomass. We stopped burying wood and started burning it. And because flat land dries out faster, we had to invent irrigation systems. And because flat land has no decomposing core to feed it, we had to invent chemical fertilizers. We created a system addicted to inputs, addicted to water, addicted to oil, addicted to chemistry, just so we could drive machines in straight lines. We traded a self-sustaining ecosystem for a factory floor. And conveniently for the industry, this system costs you hundreds of dollars every single season, year after year. It's a subscription model for survival. But here's the good news, my friends. You're not a factory. You are a gardener. You don't need to drive a tractor through your backyard. You have the freedom to reject the flat earth mentality and reclaim the power of the mound. The danger zone, the wood you must never bury. Before we get to building, remember the warning I gave you at the start. Some wood will poison your garden silently, invisibly, for years. Here's the death list you must memorize. Black walnut. This tree contains a chemical called juglone, a natural herbicide that is toxic to tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes. If you bury this, it will poison your soil for years. Your plants will sprout and then mysteriously die, and you won't understand why. Cedar and redwood. We prize these woods for building decks precisely because they refuse to rot. They contain natural antifungal oils. If you bury them, they won't create heat and they won't hold water. They'll just sit there uselessly for decades. Eucalyptus. Many varieties contain oils that can inhibit plant growth. Keep it out of your mound. Now here's the golden wood list. These are your friends. Alder, apple, poplar, willow, birch, and maple. These are the champions of Hugelkultur. They rot beautifully, hold water magnificently, and generate steady heat. Softwoods like decaying pine are acceptable, but bury them deep in the bottom layer so they break down fully. And remember this golden rule. The rottener, the better. Old, spongy wood is already inoculated with the fungi you need. Fresh-cut green wood will work, but aged rotting wood is your premium fuel. Comment golden wood below if you've got access to any of these trees in your yard or neighborhood. Let's see what resources our community has available. The blueprint, building your biological machine step by step. Now that you know what's safe, here's exactly how to build your Hugelkultur bed. Step 1. The excavation. Dig a trench. It doesn't have to be deep. About 1 foot, 30 centimeters is enough. You can build it directly on top of the ground, but digging a trench anchors the mound and gives the wood better contact with the earth's moisture. Save the soil you dig out. You'll need it later. Step 2. The fuel core. Place your largest logs at the very bottom of the trench. The bigger the better. Use old firewood, massive tree trunks, or stumps. This dense carbon is your 20-year battery. Step 3. The ignition. Here's where most people make a critical mistake. If you just pile dirt on top of wood, you create what's called nitrogen robbery. The carbon in the wood will suck up all the nitrogen in the soil to fuel its decomposition, starving your plants in the process. To prevent this, you must pack the gaps between the logs with high nitrogen material. Grass clippings, green leaves, manure, compost, or kitchen scraps. This is the kindling. It balances the carbon and kickstarts the decomposition fire immediately. Step 4. The skin. Cover the entire mound with the soil you dug out in step 1. Then add a final layer of mulch, straw, or wood chips to protect the soil. Your mound should stand about 2 to 3 feet tall. It looks like a raised bed, but inside, the engine is already starting to hum. Step 5. The planting. Plant immediately. The mound will settle over time as the wood rots. This is normal. It means the reactor is working. Why this is perfect for senior gardeners. Here's why Hugelkultur is absolutely made for senior gardeners like us. The wood reservoir waters itself. No heavy fertilizer bags. The decomposing core feeds your plants for 20 years. No back-breaking digging every season. Longer growing season. The internal heat keeps your vegetables alive in cold weather. Gets better with age. Just like us. Year 5 is better than year 1. Year 10 is extraordinary. This is gardening that works harder every year while you work less. Your 20-year legacy starts today. When you finish building a Hugelkultur bed, you haven't just prepared for the next season. You've prepared for the next generation. While standard raised beds need to be refilled and fertilized every year, the Hugelkultur mound gets better with age. By year 10, the wood is transformed into perfect black, sponge-like humus that feels like chocolate cake in your hands. This is the definition of reclaimed gardening. We're taking the waste of the forest, the fallen, the dead, the rotting, and using it to fuel the future. We're stopping the cycle of burn and buy and starting the cycle of bury and grow. So this weekend, put down the matches. Pick up a shovel. Build the hill. Light the slow fire. And let nature do the work for you. Type, "I'm building mine," in the comments below. Let's see how many Home Garden Fix gardeners are starting their Hugelkultur beds this season. Hit that like button to support real, sustainable gardening. And subscribe to Home Garden Fix because the best gardening wisdom isn't in the stores. It's waiting to be remembered. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep growing something real.